I couldn't be more happy and proud that Tone Project decided to present this plugin here on MixbusTv because, simply put, this is the new standard and benchmark for mastering compressor plugins. It's called UNiSUM. Let's take a look. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day and stay safe out there. Before we start, check the info box down below for my mixing courses on ProMix Academy, free plugins and discounts and special offers. And if the videos are helping you, you want to support the channel, but most important, access to exclusive content like members only post videos, live chat, live streams, and also mix consultations with me via Skype or email. Click the join button down here, see all the perks of becoming a MixbusTv member. Let's get to the video. Tone Project UNiSUM Mastering Compressor. I'm keeping my cool, but this is really something different. Imagine all the things that you like on the best mastering compressors out there rolled into one, and a bunch of absolutely unique features that will allow you to tailor this compressor to any track and in ways you cannot do with any other compressor. It's a very deep plugin if you want to dig in, and you will see when I open the edit style menu underneath the main GUI. So I will not go into too technical details on that because there's a manual, and some of the features it has are really aimed to professional mastering engineers and professional mastering work. So fine is the detail with which you can tailor this compressor to anything. But the good news is, to make this compressor sound great and arguably get better result than you would with anything else, you don't need to go into the fine tuning. You don't even necessarily have to know what they do really, because this plugin sounds amazing just tweaking the basic controls that you see on the main GUI. Like I said at the beginning, it's like having all the best mastering compressors in one, meaning they packed all the features that every engineer loves from all the different mastering compressors and put them here. Before going into detail on all the controls and start playing with it, the main feature, the sound was the most important thing for Tone Project when building UNiSUM Mastering Compressor. So we are looking at a very transparent and clean compressor where character can be added by clicking the IG button or using fast settings for the RMS detector. Unique feature, UNiSUM is a wideband mastering compressor, so no crossovers, no phase shifts, no bad distortion, but with multiband detection controls. 3 bands of detection. You can customize attack, release in ways you cannot with any other compressor. You can customize peak detection and RMS detection for each band. We will see that in a minute. Let's start by taking a look at the front panel. First of all, we have 2 sets of control that you can link or unlink, of course. It's stereo or mid-side, and it has 3 quality modes: real-time, high, and pristine. From top left, we have the usual controls: sidechain high-pass filter to remove excess low frequency from the detector, and a sidechain emphasis. You can see here, you can select the frequency, and based on that frequency, there will be a peak in the detection. So you increase sensitivity of the compressor to react to that specific frequency range, okay? So think if you set it to 9K or 12K or 6K, you can use it almost as a de-esser and increase that area of sensitivity. And then we have relax, one of those advanced features that is actually extremely useful in real life use. So basically, as we approach maximum gain reduction, a nonlinear algorithm will reduce slowly gain reduction, giving the material a more relaxed sound. Before seeing the other controls, I will start playing a mix through it and leave everything as is and just tweaking the relax function so you can hear it in action. I'm gonna exaggerate the compression so you can hear it. Okay, you can hear it already with the linear mode. You can hear the normal effect of compression, and all the way to the max, the relax knob, it just opens up and let the song breathe a lot better. Okay, and I'm exaggerating the settings and the compression, of course, just to make it obvious. Then after the relax, we have the GR limit, the gain reduction limit. So regardless your threshold and ratio settings, you can have them extreme to 21, 10 to 1, and a very low threshold. You can have aggressive kind of compression, obvious kind of compression, but you can limit the gain reduction to as many dB as you want. I use this function on every compressor that it has it. It's so very useful. Okay, again, it's so very transparent and clean in the behavior. There's no artifacts in the release, and it's very organic. It reminds me of a very famous analog mastering compressor, and the GUI kind of reminds that compressor. But it's pretty impressive to hear this kind of behavior and this kind of transparency in a plugin. After that, we have the regular controls: threshold, ratio, knee, if you want a hard or a softer knee. We have attack and release, general controls, and then we have the release curve that goes from linear to logarithmic. Now, linear will give you a more pumpy effect, a more obvious compression effect, where the logarithmic release, this is a release curve, it will give you a more natural and relaxed sound. It's great because this is a fully variable control, where other compressors usually has the two choices. It's either 100% linear or 100% logarithmic. This has basically a blend. Then we have the edge button. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. This is our color. This is a transparent and clean compressor. You can add color by clicking this. This is basically a mastering grade tube and transformers algorithm, but it's still very, very subtle. You can increase the color, as we said before, by using faster settings for the RMS detection that is here. This panel is what sets this compressor apart. Wideband with multiband detection and advanced control for attack and release and modifying the behavior for each band frequency dependent. We will see that later. Then we have a solo button. For monitoring purposes, of course, mix knob, dry wet for parallel compression on board, and a gain, which is your makeup gain. In the center, we have a true gain reduction meter. You can change the scale by clicking on it, super useful. And the general control for linking left or right. I say general because here at the top right, we have a channel link advanced panel with all the advanced function for linking channels. These were the main controls. Before going into all the technical details of the advanced panel, we start playing a couple of mixes with this, and the good thing is you have a very comprehensive, well done sets of presets that you can start from. Each one, it says exactly what it is. You can see at the bottom, clean starting point with responsive RMS detection, or smooth, clean starting point with peak detection. So it describes what it is. We'll start with default and go from there. Listen to how transparent and organic this compressor is. That's what a mastering compressor should be. Actually, the color, when you push it and you use a fast release, is pretty apparent. It's very nice. Go in this other bit here and use mid side. Very good. Let's try another mix. This is a good test because it has a huge bottom end and mids, and in mastering we pay attention to how a compressor reacts, especially in the release behavior, to big bottom ends. Again, how well it controls the low end, and I'm just tweaking very quickly for the purpose of the video, and contains all the guitars and the hi-hats and just makes it more compact with, again, no artifact whatsoever. Just gonna use the mix knob and see how that works. It's so very transparent, and even on challenging material like that, there's no distortion, there's no artifact. I want to try it on a different kind of mix altogether, something more classic. Love this preset. It's called Open, and less compression of highs and subtle widening. You can see the channel linking here has been modified. I hope you can hear it from the video. If you can, use headphones, use a good monitoring system. The details that brings up and like all the breadth of every instrument, it's pretty impressive, and it's so natural. Again, it's so transparent. I keep repeating it, and I know everybody is all about colors all the time, but I said this several times before, transparent is very hard to achieve, and it's something that you will want more as you progress and you get better at mixing and mastering. So this is absolutely impressive. Now, for the gigs, a brief description of the multiband detector, attack and release modifier, and channel link. These are the advanced features of this compressor that makes it absolutely unique. So we have a multiband detector here, and you can set, of course, the 2 crossover frequencies, again, just for the detector. It still is a wide band, so there's no phase shift or distortion in the compressor, in the sound of the compressor itself. This just helps you tailor the compressor to any material. You can set the frequency for the crossovers, and then you have RMS speed and peak gain, okay? for each band, high, mid, and low. If we read what it says, it sets this spread of the RMS detection of high frequencies, mid and low, of course, respectively. Lower values result in a slower and smoother response. Okay, so if we lower these, let's say we want a smoother response on the low end and we keep it like pretty high on the high and mids. Okay, and the indicators, the light will tell you how the compressor is behaving, what is seen. Then we have the peak gain, which in this case for this preset was all the way down, so it was reacting to the high frequencies by only using the RMS detection. So it wasn't reacting to the high frequencies by peak, so short events. That's why I described less compression on the high ends, because it only reacts slowly to the high ends, to the average energy as opposed to the peak. We can tweak that and probably hear the difference. Okay, you can see the indicator going from peak and RMS. Cool feature again. It might take you a minute to wrap your head around it if you're not like a professional, but still learn how to use it. It's totally worth it. Then we have the weight again for each band. It sets the weight of low, mid, and high frequency band. For example, how much it influences the overall level detection. That's very important. You have a bottom heavy track, hip hop or trap. You don't want the low end to influence the overall detection too much. You just bring this down and it works like an advanced high-pass filter, in which with the high-pass filter you only select what the detector sees and you just cut the low end there. In this case, it still reacts to it, but it doesn't influence the overall detection. Again, very important. And then we have independent ratio, the X ratio, for each band, so you can attenuate ratio for, like, again, the low end or the high end or the mids independently. And then we have the attack release modifiers. First row is for the attack, second for the release. It would be pretty boring for me to go into what each of these knobs does. You can read it by clicking the question mark and hover with your mouse on each knob. But one of them I want to mention is a transient override, which is very similar to what we know as auto fast attack on a famous mastering compressor. It overrides the attack time on transient with either fast turn left or slower turn time. So practically speaking, you use this when you're happy with the attack time, with the general big knob attack time there. But you need the transients, and the transients only, to be compressed with either a faster or slower release time, okay? Let's try on a drum track. Okay, listen to the snare. So if I leave it off and I have a pretty slow attack, so a snappy attack, 11 milliseconds in this case, you can hear the snare snapping. And if I turn the transient override to the left, it starts shaving that transient. And the indicators is very useful because it tells you when it starts to override your main setting on the attack. Very, very cool feature. On top of it, you have the envelope smooth and the second envelope mix. These are, again, very advanced control. You can read it yourself and try this plugin, which I absolutely advise. And then we have the advanced channel linking, which is a feature that is unique to this compressor, RMS peak bias. So this allows separate controls over the channel linking for the RMS and peak detectors based on the current settings of the channel link knob, which is this in the middle. Okay, so again, is another overriding parameter that allows you more versatility to link, in this case, the behavior, the RMS and versus peak linking of left and right, or mid and side if you're using it mid side. This control is only active when channel link is below 100. So there's need to be some degree of unlinking here in the center knob for this to start working. In fact, if you turn it 100%, it's grayed out and is activated when you start unlinking the channel. Then we have a filter. This allows control to the high and low frequency influence on channel linking. Again, similar to what we see on the API 2400, for example, but advanced, and most important is fully variable as opposed to two static settings. And finally, we have a limit, which is very similar to the gain reduction settings. This basically sets the max allowed difference when you unlink, and also when you start tweaking the bias and the filter between left and right. So it limits the amount of difference so that your stereo image doesn't shift too much. I've never seen anything like this. This is definitely the most comprehensive and detailed mastering compressor that I've ever seen. But most important, like I said at the beginning, the sound is what's important, and everything else is just you tweaking to perfection to any track. This was Tone Project UNiSUM Mastering Compressor. I hope this video was useful. I hope you liked it. Link to the plugin is going to be in the info box down below. If you liked the video, please don't forget to leave a like. If you want to support the channel and access to more content, exclusive videos, live chats, and also mix consultations, click the join button down here. See all the perks of becoming a MixbusTv member. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe out there, and see you next time.